stories, because there's multiple stories when it comes to Toyota reliability, but also Toyota denying claims and just being downright dirty and difficult. So let's get into Toyota being downright dirty and difficult. And this is too bad because this is coming from one of the companies, automobile companies, that used to be the most reliable and generally really problem-free. And when you would have that occasional claim, they're really good about it. And I mean really, really good about it. They're known for saying yes to warranty work and not just looking, because right now what I see going down, it's not just Toyota looking for an excuse and finding an excuse and denying it. It almost seems like maybe they're making up an excuse. So we'll get into that, because the whole Toyota question warranty almost has me in one instance wonder, can you really drive a Toyota on the interstate? Because basically the claim denial almost boils down to parts of the USA. You can't drive on the interstate because they're saying, no, you're denied, claim denied because you went over 85 miles per hour. Folks, that's 136.7 kilometers an hour. In Jersey, on the turnpike, if you're not driving between 80 and 90 miles per hour, you're getting driven off the road. There's parts of Florida on the Interstate 95. If you're not doing 80, 85, 87 miles per hour, you are just being blown by the traffic. So let's get into this story fully. Let's cover all the aspects, because we're talking about transmission problems, we're talking about motor problems, and we're talking about fire, and fires that take out entire vehicles and then just aren't covered by Toyota. And I hope that this gets covered for weeks and weeks, to the point where this Toyota story leads to Toyota going back to the Toyota they used to be. The Toyota that I grew up on, loving, appreciating. I almost went to work for a Toyota dealer some 12, 13 years ago. And I was enamored with their product. And I was like, I was asked, why Toyota? And I said, well, to me, it makes sense to pay a little more to get something that's reliable and trustworthy. But these practices aren't quite trustworthy. So let's start from the furthest in recent times, the furthest problem that they ignored, to the most recent. We're going to cover it all here. So please, folks, before we officially really dive deep into this, help us out. Hit the thumbs button, share this content, and if you aren't already subscribed, please do. Hit the bell notifications, turn them on so you don't miss anything. M Peugeot, Ridgeview, 4 high, 4 low, the WB. We've got a lot of returning community members that really help keep this channel going. So if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. If you're a member like Outsider Reviews or Ridgeview, thank you so much. And don't forget, catch Outsider Reviews Wild Track. He's going to be posting his video probably a little bit before mine, but we're out playing in the sand, forest, mud, muck, everything, cross some streams. Catch his channel, subscribe to his channel. I want to see my friend Outsider Reviews, a vet, a brother. I want to see his channel go over 1,000 subscribers, well over 1,000 subscribers, but we got to get him to 1,000 subscribers so he can actually be monetized, because this guy has way more equipment than me. I feel, pretty fancy just buying these Rode microphones recently. But thank you everyone for making it to the show. Now let's dive right into it. Put the pedal to the metal, folks. 102,000 Toyota Tundras and Lexus LXs recalled for potential engine failure. Let's just do the little background. It took quite a while for Toyota to get to this point, and this puts the corporation, you could say, on fire, because they're having to change out entire motors. And at first they went down the road of don't know what's going on, your situation's unique, blah blah, and they were difficult. They weren't just quickly giving people warranty work, fixing what had gone wrong. Of course, they, companies do this. Toyota's not the only one, that they'll have analysis, look at the situations, look into the computers, see what's going on. Yes, your vehicle spies on you. That's not just at Toyota, but these Toyotas are very much spying on people. And you know that if you continue watching, when we get to the last Toyota story in about 7 or 8 minutes, you'll really know how bad this is and how concerning this is for us, the consumers of what used to be, and in good part, still a top-notch quality product. But they gotta stand by when things go wrong. So at first, the hybrid engine YouTubers were having problems with them. A lot of people were having problems with them, and they just weren't able to quickly jump on the bandwagon and say, look, this is clearly our fault. You've got low miles. Let's just fix it. No, they want to analyze everything and try to find a way out. And I don't like it. I don't like the automobile manufacturers starting to act more and more like insurance companies. But Toyota, down to the facts, Toyota is finally recalling the 102,000 vehicles. This took quite a while, not just months, but over a year, because these problems were straight out from when the hybrid first dropped. It's 102,000 units. And I said that I'd have a ton of respect for Toyota. I said this months and months and months ago at the beginning of this whole story process. I said I'd really respect it if they did the right thing and they just recalled the whole engines. Because if you recall, if you've been here for a long time, like a lot of our members that I mentioned earlier, I mentioned how can you possibly have 3 engine production plants on 3 entirely, it's 3 different countries, and it's not only 3 different countries, they're on different continents. How did all of them happen to just have some metal shavings at the bottom of the engine bay? And they're still saying, not by the way, that it's a oversight that some shavings were left at the bottom of the engine. But I still feel that the engine is grenading, that the engine's just not great. But we'll find out when these new engines get put in these vehicles, if some of the new engines, which supposedly are now manufactured without shavings at the bottom of the engine, maybe it is an error in engine manufacturing that occurred in 3 different locations, 3 different countries, 3 different continents. But it puts some doubts in my mind. It makes me think that maybe there's an actual issue with how the motor was built and engineered. And maybe they'll keep the story this way, and maybe I'm right, but maybe it's been corrected. Maybe, they've changed something with the oil distribution. We may never know, but we'll definitely know one thing. If the new engines start to blow, we'll know that the whole design is wrong. And then they need to look at going into, do they fit another engine in there? What we do know, what is a fact, is that resale value, and Tim Esterdale, fantastic journalist over at Pickup Truck, SUV and Pickup Truck Talk, Tim Esterdale, check out his channel. He's one of the few journalists that I feel does pretty much a perfect job. Doesn't seem to be swayed by whatever vehicle happens to be loaned to him for a week or two. His press vehicle. It doesn't seem to be swayed by that, because he says, he covers the real deal. The way here, I make sure that I cover as best I can, because we all have biases, but I do my best to cover the real deal. He covered this fantastically. He's got about a 14-minute video just talking about what's going down at Toyota, so you can catch that. But he brought up a great point, and he said he looked at his Toyota Tundra hybrid that he had, what he sold it for versus what it's going for now. And he also looked at, averages. So he actually used, I love it, he uses data. And the data that he found is, guess what? Trade value from April until now has dropped $5,800 US. So the value of these new model, the new generation, the most recent generation of Tundras, it's affecting current owners. Even if you get a new engine, it's affecting current owners who want to switch. April was before they recalled all the engines. Now, 4 months later, they're worth almost $6,000 less, $5,800 US less on average, their trade-in value. So, and their sale value. So that's really affecting the value of the vehicle. But one interesting thing, if you have the old generation with, the 5.7 liter V8, which after all the years and years that they've used it for, and despite its pretty bad fuel economy, value on those have gone up. So keep that in mind. If you've got a previous generation Tundra, your value has gone up. But Toyota did do the right thing. They recalled all the engines. That means no customers are going to get blamed on how they drove, how they accelerated, what top speed they did. So kudos to you, Toyota. I did say that if you did the right thing, I'd be extremely impressed, and I'm extremely impressed. You've done the right thing. It's amazing. However, you very quickly then turned around and are kind of doing the wrong thing all over again. So I'm going to just open up the show here if I can, turn down the sound. I want to be catching all your comments on this. Sanjib, thanks for making it in. And Peugeot is saying he understands if the warranty work isn't covered if you hit 88 miles per hour and the flux capacitor kicks in, or if you added nitrous, for example. That would all be very, very legit. But no, let's make it to the next story, slowly moving to that burned car, why Toyota's on fire. But Toyota, the new Tacoma has had transmission problems. And interesting enough, if we head over to the drive here, a story by Nico DeMattia, he points out how on Truck King, so Truck King is also an excellent YouTube channel. Lots of respect for him because he's interesting, entertaining, and doesn't seem to be swayed either by what happens to be in his yard. And I guess at this point, he really shouldn't be swayed. He's probably not going to be giving probably doesn't have the best things to say about Toyota right now because it's pretty ridiculous. He's had the transmission problem. And let's go down to it right here. Some people have had, you've got, you can catch this article and read right through it, but one transmission failed at 342 miles as someone who is an Arizonian, bought in North Carolina, was driving the Tacoma back to Arizona, and the transmission went on the Tacoma TRD Pro. So that's a forum member from Tacoma World, Fostuhh, Fostuhh. So you can catch this story. Yeah, this isn't great. Tacoma transmission failures. At the time of publishing, 13 known by the National Highway, the NHTSA, 13 that are known, but it's got to be more than that. You've got Truck King over here on YouTube. He had the Tacoma 6-speed and it broke suddenly. And that's when one of the hosts was trying to shift from 5th into 3rd. And is Toyota saying, oh, our bad, we've had other transmissions that go. We understand. And yes, Outsider Reviews pointing out that TFL also had an issue with their Tacoma breaking down. I watched that off-road video, and they're doing, when it broke, they're doing considerably lighter off-roading than what Outsider Reviews and Pat and I were doing. Because we got stuck a few times. I'm pretty happy with that 2.7. Did a good job of pulling out that heavy but very extremely powerful 3-liter Raptor Bronco. But we've got several YouTubers having problems. And what did Truck King get told? Truck King got told, oh, you went from 5th to 1st. This is user error. We call a code 18. It's between the 18 inches or so between the steering wheel and the back headrest. So essentially they're not just essentially saying it. Toyota's saying, Truck King, it's your error. But oddly, this was filmed, recorded, released on YouTube. And what's funny, what the drive notes, so Nico DeMattia notes that there's no sound that would go along with to corroborate this story. When you go from 5th into 1st, you definitely, you hear some pretty warlike sounds. You've got some grinding and some screeching, popping. It's a nasty sound. That would have been caught by, it doesn't have to be a microphone, doesn't have to be a 15-year-old cell phone would pick up what's going on in that transmission. So oddly, even though you have video evidence, you have Toyota trying to, bypass their responsibility. And this is a company, a manufacturer that has been known for being great when it comes to warranty work. And I guess it is easy to be great when it comes to warranty work when you don't have to spend much money on it because you've engineered the product correctly from the beginning. And I'm still thinking more so that the Tundra hybrid engine problem is more of an engineering problem from the beginning than actual random metal shavings that happen to be across 3 different truck plants on 3 different continents. And Peugeot, I love it that you're dropping information because when it comes to mechanics and the whole engineering aspect of things, you explain things really, really well. And I can't think of a single time you were wrong. You always seem to be right about this stuff. So thank you very much for your assistance. Now, Toyota has also recalled certain 2022 and 2023 Corolla Cross models. So here's another issue going down, and this is for non-compliance recall involving certain 22 and 23 Corollas, and it's approximately 96,000 vehicles that are involved. So this is with the front passenger airbag, and it says that there's an increased risk of injury in a crash. And their suggestion in the meantime, because they don't have airbags, they don't have a fix that's quick and fast for all 96,000 people, owners. So they're saying that until the vehicle is inspected and the remedy is performed, Toyota recommends that no one sit in the front passenger seat of one of the involved vehicles, one of the 96,000 Toyota Crosses. That is pretty bad, Toyota. I'm excited for the new Toyota MR2, but I don't think I'll be getting one if this type of stuff continues. So here we go. We're going to switch over now to apparently someone else's commercial here. Sorry about that. So no, we're going to switch to the final Toyota story before we get into some good Ford Maverick news. And the good news is that it's not too late to switch your order. Lots of orders have been put in, but it's not too late to order one, and it's not too late to switch your order. So we'll make sure no one misses the mark. And I think the Maverick right now is one of the best options on the market for a purchase. So let's check out the Corolla here. We've got the Corolla GR. Let's first understand what this is. It's an incredible machine. 300 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque out of a 1.6 liter inline 3-cylinder engine. So all 3 cylinders are in line, they're flat. It's all-wheel drive. It's a 6-speed manual. It's the type of hot hatch that would, create hot dreams over the any young person's, but they're expensive. So I don't know how many young people can actually afford these, but young people definitely like these, and I think they actually make practical family vehicles. It's a good-looking vehicle. Mechanically, it's extremely impressive with the stats there. But what do we have here? We've got 2 incidences of the vehicle catching fire. Let's get a little visual on that. So not very pretty, not good at all. One instance where the vehicle is completely engulfed in flames. It's completely ruined, totaled. There's nothing to do with it. And another one where it's the engine bay. So you've got 2 instances of these GR Corollas catching fire. And I've said it before, when we had the Bronco engines, somewhere between 56 to maybe max 120 2.7 liter EcoBoost engines, and maybe it's more, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I still believe that the numbers were somewhere around there. You had some 2.7 liter engines go bad because of some valves that I guess weren't coated properly. They weren't taking the heat and cool down all that well. So some valves broke, blew some engines. But Ford was very quick to be like, whoa, you're getting a new engine. This is on us. So sorry. But this story, while it's only 2, is horrific because it's the worst possible thing that a manufacturer can do to the buyer, the consumer, the owner. So you can check out the story, the written story at motor1.com, as I have. But let's dive into kind of how you could say silly the process on Toyota's end is. I'm not impressed at all. So you've got, in one instance, at 23,413 miles, you've got the vehicle catching fire. So there's a Carfax report on February 12th, 2024. Accident damage was reported to the front, the left front, and the right front, and the rear front. So you're thinking maybe it wasn't repaired properly and the fire comes from there. Well, hold on. Proper investigation doesn't just look for one thing and say, hey, that could be used. You should actually look if it makes sense, Toyota. So at the time of the inspection, the vehicle had fire damage to the front And the engine compartment, the inboard side of the engine block had a small hole on the upper side from internal engine damage. Oil residue was found at the turbocharger, the bottom of the engine, the undercarriage, and exhaust pipes. So it's not being covered. The owner's manual warns not to drive apparently in excess of the speed limit. That's once in the book. And even if the legal speed limit permits going over 85 miles per hour, some parts of the interstate in the States, it's 75 miles per hour. You have to easily do 85 to keep up with traffic, but it's saying don't go over 85 miles per hour because, you know, the tires aren't made for it. Well, tires and motor are unrelated. An engine fire, I can understand if it was a tire blowout and Toyota's like, no, we're not covering your crash because of a tire blowout because you went too fast. It's 136.7 kilometers per hour. So it's 100, let's say 137 kilometers per hour. But yeah, Toyota's response to this, and this is a vehicle, this is a vehicle that had been in, or one of the two vehicles had actually been in with an owner complaint about, you know, something seems funny coming from the engine. It feels like it's only running on 2 cylinders, and it was inspected by the dealership, and the dealership said, hey, you're good. We've checked it. Everything's great. Go on. And then the engine blew, and then Toyota's like, nope, not covering. So let's finish covering this in full. The accident damage Toyota refers to in the above statement was reportedly superficial. So there was an accident, very superficial. The owner alleges that the paint work was damaged due to debris that came from a dump truck, and that this Mr. Banks, the owner, supplied this to Toyota with documents proving this, and called the company to find out why the claim was rejected. The automaker reportedly skirted around the issue and claimed the car was abused. So this is from CarBuzz. So catch the written article. I'm quoting CarBuzz directly. So please give them some credit here as I give them credit. Check out the article. It's a 6-minute read. It's by Jared Neves. Very good write-up. The second owner, same thing, was denied, and very oddly, it seems like they both had the same individual reviewing the claim. They both had their letters sent out at the same time, even though there was about a month's difference between the fires of both vehicles. So one of the owners definitely waited quite some time. And in one of the cases, like I said, this is wild. The owner was very responsible. He went to the dealer, said, look, the engine feels like it's running only on 2 cylinders. What's going on? Check it out. The dealer said everything's fine. You're good to go. Get back on the road. Engine catches fire, and Toyota says, no, you drove over 85 miles per hour. This is mind-boggling. The Corolla GR, you pay a premium price to have this incredible 300 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, manual 6-speed hot hatch. And Toyota even pays for you to have 1 race day with your vehicle. How does it make any sense that their answer is user error? You went over, your vehicle spied on you. We've now used the computer from the vehicle to know you went over 85 miles per hour. And that's breaking the rules. Your little vehicle that spied on you is now making it so you're going to be out tens and tens of thousands of dollars. One case, the whole vehicle. And in one case, the person was in between insurance. So he's completely out. He's continuing to make payments, and, could think any of us could be ruined by the fact if we have to make car payments to a vehicle that's Toyota pays to take you on a race day, to take it out on a race day, and you don't get anything, but you have to continue making payments on a vehicle you don't have because you went over 85 miles per hour, and now you still have to get to work, right? So you have to buy another vehicle if your credit will allow it. You have to have second payments on another vehicle, or somehow find the cash to buy something that'll take you to work. This is ridiculous. In one instance, Toyota says the car had gone 114 miles per hour, and that's abuse of the vehicle. But yeah, it comes with a track day. How do you not go 114 miles per hour on a track day? And one of the GR Corollas had around 500 miles on it. So this thing was brand new. Brand new, brand new, brand new. These aren't people putting nitrous in the vehicles. 500 miles. Thing was brand new, basically coming back from the dealership. So in one of the instances, you can see it in the article here, the car was taken to Toyota for an inspection and oil change, and the dealer found nothing wrong. The dealer claimed the issue could stem from too much octane in the fuel, but Banks, the owner, Mr. Banks, says he only uses premium pump gas. So it sounds like he did everything right on his end, and Toyota is doing everything wrong, in my opinion. Don't sue me, bro. But in my opinion, that's not how you're going to make happy customers. And it's sad. I feel like every person shopping a Toyota should know this story. But almost everyone shopping a Toyota is still going to have that, incredible reliability, that long, incredible manufacturer when it comes to warranty work, incredible reliability. But like I said earlier, easy to be really great when it comes to warranty claims when you have next to none. It's sort of like how to judge an individual isn't when they're in their best, safest, happiest environment. You can see the true character of someone when you kind of throw them into the mud and you see what type of person they're like when, crap has hit the fan. So hopefully Pat wasn't when the crap hit the fan for Pat from Outsider Reviews and I while we're off-roading and the Raptor was stuck in the mud. Hopefully he saw me in the pressure cooker and still liked what he saw. But I think so because he approached me in regards to doing a live here that he'd come down next to Sherbrooke and do a live. We've still got an empty seat right here. So it looks like sometime, hopefully soon, we'll be able to organize for Pat from Outsider Reviews to be here. So yeah, I think Marie is all on board for that. Douglas Blair, share this with the world. Yeah, people when they go to shop a Toyota should know about this story, that Toyota wants your money up front, but are they going to be responsible and do the right thing on their end, on the backside, once you're an owner? And it took a long time. And this, the stories I've picked kind of fit together because it took a long time for Toyota to recall the engine on the Tundra. The Tacoma, so far, looks like they're blaming people. They're telling Truck King, well, no, you went from 5th to 1st, despite it being on video and clearly from the sounds in the video, there wasn't a money shift from 5th into 1st. So this is really rough. I'm going to look at some of the comments here. You got M. Peugeot saying, yep, buy another Toyota because they treated you so well. Yeah, people looking to shop back on a Toyota need to think of this. Douglas Blair, share this with the world. They want your money, but not to fix defective cars. Douglas Blair, that is the perfect quote. You got it out much better than I did. So thank you. Great point there. Outsider Reviews, I've learned a lot from him. He's got incredible equipment, even though he doesn't have his 1,000 subscribers. So right now he spent a ton of money to create incredibly good professional videos, but he's not getting any money. It blows me away because I've been doing this for a number of years, and I finally, spent on this. My initial spending on this cell phone that I bought, I just kept figuring it's got to be the room. It's got to be something. My phone is so good; it must make great sound. But no, you still need a microphone, no matter how much you pay for the cell phone. It would look like. So yeah, in Peugeot, yeah, I know some people that have really mistreated Miatas and even added turbos to them, and still they're more reliable than this. So with a homemade tune to the computer after the turbo got installed, this is pretty disappointing. Toyota, I gotta tell you, I've had Toyota MR2s most of my life. The fact that the new Toyota MR2 is coming out, myself and a bunch of my high school friends are like, hey, we'd like to get a Toyota MR2. But this is seriously putting a damper on the story. It used to be that the only real major negative thing I could think about when it came to Toyota were a few Corolla transmissions that were bad and one of the earlier generation Tundras I believe, if I recall, is in the 2000s, around 2007, 2008. The frame was pretty darn weak. But other than that, this is just 1 year, and this isn't all the stories I could be sharing with you. I've shared 2 or 3 other stories already this year, and I'm not going to dive into them. But this is a hot mess. This is a fire at the corporation. Will the building or buildings, will the corporation burn down, or will they call in the fire people, the firemen, firewomen, whatever? Are they going to put the fire out? You know, get the water hose out, get the foam, spray the foam on the vehicle if it's a battery fire, because water will only make the fire worse. Hard to put out electric vehicle fires, cannot use water. But this is sad. This is coming from, Toyota had been boring for almost 2 decades, and they came back out with the Toyota Supra. Well, they came out with the GR86, and I was like, wow, this is great. I went to buy one, then drove one, and I was like, wow, that's horrible. 200 horsepower is not enough, and I'm not buying it just for incredible handling because I don't live on a racetrack. And then the Supra came out, and I almost pulled the trigger on a Toyota Supra, on the new Toyota Supra, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And what held me back is I said, well, I'm going to wait a little bit because it's a BMW engine. I want to see if all the electronics and sensors are good and don't lead to this. On this one, it's my opinion, but I'm siding with the owners, and we got to get this story out, folks. Got to get it out. It's not right, and we got to stick up for when things aren't right. And we, as a car community, we have to work together, protect one another. And I want to bring up this story a few more times as it develops. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be here, continuing to be here. But folks, that ends episode 1 of this live. Now let's get into episode 2. We're going to be talking about how the powertrain works over on the nice looking Maverick. And actually, you know what? Episode 2, let's quickly talk about the Stellantis story, because I want to sort of keep this in theme